Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Believe it or not, I think I have everything set up. Let me see. Just waiting for everything to... Let's see if this is working. All right, it looks like we've got everything is showing up. I'm going to try and zoom in just a tad. Because what we're going to do today, I think I want to have it be a little bit more close up. If I need to zoom out, I will. So if you can hear me, leave a comment and let me know. I have lots to share with you today. And I'm super excited to be here. Who's here? Who's here? Let's see. Give a few minutes to my stack of bold papers. And then I have our cup files to share with you, a sketch. Also, we find other things, so I'll put these here as well. So yeah, we've got tons of inspiration for you today. And the other thing too is that I don't know if you've had a chance to visit our Inspiration Center on our website, but that is a great place to go. It'll allow you to find exactly what you're looking for with ease, because it's all organized for you depending on if you're looking for a specific technique, if you're looking for a specific kit. All of the process videos are there. It's definitely going to be your go-to. Hey, Antonia. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. You make it every time. Last week, I had some stuff going on, so I wasn't able to make it, but I think that that's like the second time in several months that I haven't been here, so I missed you guys. Anyway, Inspiration Center. Be sure you head over to our website and kind of mosey around in there. You'll be amazed at what's there. And we're actually also doing a designer spotlight. So if there's a specific designer that you're looking for their projects, you'll be able to find some of those there as well. So lots and lots of stuff there, regardless if it's cup files, mixed media, June kits, May kits, April kits, November kits, you name it, you'll find it. So Robert is behind all of that, and he's been working hard on it. So if you love it, let us know. I think it makes finding what you're looking for a lot easier, especially if you just kind of come across our website, and you'll realize all of the amazing things that come along with your subscription. So rather than just all the beautiful products, there's tons of inspiration, and we show you lots of ways that you can get a lot of use out of your kits. So who else is here? Leave a comment below and let me know if you're... Introduce yourself. I've got my laptop all set up. I'm organized this morning. I spent a lot of time this week kind of messing with stuff. So rather than... I don't have pictures on my layouts yet. I have to print those, but that's okay. I have lots of ideas. So let's start, first of all, with in our kits each month, we have sketches that we're including in your box. So there's a couple of different ways, or kind of jumping off points that you can use with the products that are included in your kit. So sketches are a great way to do that. So inside your package each month you'll receive different sketches, and they're on nice paper, and if you have a binder or a folder, just kind of file them away each month, and then you have like a bunch of go-to things right at your fingertips to kind of jumpstart your creative mojo and get you started on your next project. So hopefully you all have noticed those in your boxes. So we've got those. The other thing, actually I'll do this and this at the end. I also want to share our cut files that we've got for you. On the 4th of July, we did 2 freebie cut files. So regardless of whether you're a subscriber or not, you can download these 2 cut files for free. You just need to log into your account on our website. And if you haven't registered on our website, it's easy. You enter your email address, create a password, and then you can click on cut files and you can download these 2 files for free. So we have a happy 4th of July, which is a great scripty title that you can use for all of your 4th of July memories. And then there's also this star, kind of a Sunburst Cup File. And each one of the sunbursts are individual. So you don't have to use the whole thing. You can use part of it, all of it. Yeah. And so if you wonder how you're going to place this on your page and get it situated just right, save the negative space of this piece when you cut it, and you can lay it over your cardstock or background or whatever you're using, and then you can fit each one of these starbursts in place. And once you lay them in there, then you can just add a little liquid glue, just little dots, just to hold them, and then you can remove that extra material, and you've got your cut file exactly where you want it. So that's kind of a tip with this one. And then we have our June cut files that coordinate perfectly with our June kits. So a title, this one you can use the background or use the outline, or you can just use the cut itself, depending on how you want to do it. You can back it, or a lot of different options with this one. So you have you can use the cut file itself, and the fact that each word is separate, you can kind of place it how you want it on your page, rather than have it all kind of attached. Again, if you want to make sure that you place it properly in the way that it was designed, keep this piece, lay it over your cardstock, and then you can just place your cut file pieces inside that negative space, and then you're good to go. So there's that one. We have a arrow background cut file, and this one is awesome for all different kinds of pages. You can use it the way it is on either a solid or like a kind of a subtle pattern paper. You can take one of your if you have like a mixed media background that you've done that you're like, not sure if I'm going to use that, put it on your mat, cut this out, and it'll make your cut flat or your mixed media background look a lot better. Or if you have a mixed media background that you're not sure that you want to use, cut this out of white cardstock and put your mixed media background behind it, and it'll really make these arrows very interesting. So there's a couple of different ways that this can be used. And if you so desire, you can back these individually with different patterns. If you cut strips of paper, you can have each one of the rows or columns be different patterns. You may just kind of have to create like a wavy pattern along one edge so that you don't have a lot of overlap. But I think if you do that on one, I believe that then you can layer behind that so that it doesn't affect your subsequent rows. So there's that one. We've got a compass, which is, it's very hot here, so I don't know if my fan is creating a lot of noise. Let me turn this down. I didn't even think of that. My office has a lot of windows, and it gets quite warm in here, so my fan is my friend. Okay, so we've got a compass, and this one, same thing. Save all of your pieces, and you can puzzle everything together. And then that way you know where all the little, I think that there's only, I think it's just the dot that might create an issue. So just knowing where your dot needs to go. So save this star, you can place it on top. I think it's the star and then these little pointers. So it's the center of this cup file that you're going to need a little bit of help when putting it back together so that all the pieces sit there perfectly. So just save the star itself, and then you'll know exactly where everything should go. So there's that one. We've got a food truck, which is super cute. You could put your journaling in this little menu board if you wanted to. You could have your, if you were so inclined, you could silhouette people and put them inside your food truck. You can back it with different patterns in each row. All kinds of things you can do with this. Or leave it open and do like a colorful mixed media background and place it on top. So lots and lots and lots of things. So this one's really cute. And we have a hot air balloon. Again, you can leave it as it is. Just have it, cut out on solid cardstock and place it down, and then have your background be really interesting. My phone. I need to put do not disturb on my phone. We also have a scooter, which is really cute. So our kit in general is all about exploration, on the go, just all kinds of things. It could be travel, it could be just being outdoors, you name it. So there's lots of stuff here. This one is super cool. It's a plain taking off, but it's a stitchable cut file. So if you look closely at it, you'll see all the little piloted holes for you. So done all the heavy lifting for you so you can stitch around the edge, which is really fun. So there's that one, and then this is another freebie cut file. And again, if you're not a all of the other June cut files, these are all subscriber cut files with the exception of the 2 4th of July ones. And these all of our subscribers can download these for free as a part of your subscription, which is a great deal. If you're not a subscriber but you love our cut files, they're also available for purchase on our website. So you can access them as well and purchase them. I believe you can purchase them as a bundle, or you can purchase them individually for $1.99. So if you do the math and you were to download each one of these for $1.99, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. There's $16 in free cut files for our subscribers, and that's half of what your main kit would cost. So definitely a nice little benefit if you scrap with cut files. And cut files are always a great way to kind of jumpstart your pages, because you can kind of use that as your kind of either focal point or major piece of your page, and then everything else falls into place pretty easily. So and then this one is a freebie cut, and this one is available to everybody. Again, just register on our website, log into your account, and you'll be able to access and download this one for free. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of like a bucket list. It's got numbers up through 10, and it's cut all the way around on 3 sides. And then you can score this here. And so if you wanted to, you could either have like a little, I can't remember the size of these, but you could use little thumbnail, like black and white photos, and put them on each one of the little flaps with some embellishments. And then underneath, you can back a solid piece of cardstock behind it, and you can include your journaling about each one of the photos behind. If you are a traveler's notebook person, this is a great option as well. Just cut it in half and kind of size it so that it'll fit in your traveler's notebook. And it's a great little bucket list cut file. You can use it on your Pocket Life pages as well. If you're a pocket scrapbooker, just, you know, kind of, you can crop it down so that you use the pieces that you want. So there's a lot of different ways that this one can be used. So I think it's really fun. Okay, so in addition, I created a layout using our June kits using this sketch, and we did it previously in one of my Sunday Fun Day lives, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. So we'll kind of revisit that, but this is available on our website as well under sketches. Just go to our inspiration station or center, and you'll be able to find all of our sketches there as well. Finally, this is our sketch for our sketch challenge for the month of July. And This sketch is available on our website. It's also available in our Facebook group. And all of the details regarding our challenge are included in our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, head on over. I've got the link to our Facebook group in the description below, and you can head on over there and request to join. It's a great place to find additional inspiration and to connect with other scrapbookers from all around the world, which is really cool. I've met some great friends that I never would have crossed paths with. So our Facebook group is a great way to do that. You can share your layouts that you create with our kits there, or really any other products that you use. The only thing that we ask is just no outside promotion of outside companies. So but that's really the only rule. And also just be positive. We want to make sure that it's a friendly, inviting community where everybody feels welcome, and so that it is a place that people want to spend time. So anyway, and I've got some ideas for this that I'm going to share with you in a bit. So let's start with this in mind. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I've said this morning? I know I just yammer on and on and on, so I'm going to put some of this stuff aside, and let's start with this paper. Kind of busy, and people might shy away from it because it's got a lot going on in terms of shapes, and having those nested circles might make people a little dizzy. So keeping in mind, sometimes you just have to look at your papers and break them down into individual elements. So these circles are really cool. They might be a little much all together. If you stare at it, it might make your eyes go cross-eyed, but take a circle punch, and if you flip it upside down, and let me bring this up a little closer. Let's see. If I hold it right, you have to have leverage too, and be able to line it up, but I hope that this is a really old punch, so it may or may not work. Okay. So you can cut the little circles out using a punch. And there's several different colors of circles on here. So if you punch a bunch of them out, I'm just going to quickly do it this way. The other thing too is if you have multiple different size punches, let's see, this one is going to be tight, but you can do different little pieces. Oops, too close, too close. See, every single time, I always want to go the wrong direction. Wrong direction. Okay, here we go. So you've got lots of little circles, and if you wanted to, once you cut a bunch of them out, actually, I I have a bunch of mixed media backgrounds that I haven't done anything with. At least I think I do. Okay, here's one I was kind of working on with this sketch in mind. So I created a mixed media background and used the items in our color kit this month. Is it this month? I think some of them were this month. Actually, no, I lied. I did this with the distress crayons that are coming in our July kit. So, and I'll show you those next week, along with all of the goodies in our July kits. Or maybe we'll do it during the week. I don't know. But anyway, so I created that, and let's say if you have large circle punches, you can use those also on your photos. And I don't have a photo sitting here at the moment, but I do probably have some scraps. Alright, I have a couple of scraps. Let's see if I can get 3 circles out of this. 1, 2. Ha! Indeed I can. So these are going to be photos. So if you place your photos here, so there we've got that, right? And then you can use all these little circles and create your sprinkles coming down. You can use, like for instance, you could use all the blue ones here, you could use all the green ones here, and all the yellow ones here, or however you wanted to do it. Or you could do it with any different shapes that you have. If you wanted to use just regular like star punches or whatever, and you can punch those out of any of your pattern papers. Like I would use probably the subtle side of your papers, or the solid cardstock. Or if you have a mixed media background that is maybe contrasts with this, you could use those as well. And in fact, I had a couple of mixed media backgrounds that I wasn't going to use, and so I just took it and I punched it apart. I did a stripe, but I didn't like the way that it turned out, so I punched a bunch of circles. And these are using the our color kit. And I've got lots of little ones, so you could combine the little spirals along with solid pieces and create your page that way. And if you wanted to, you could run some vertical stitching lines just to add some interest behind your photo. So anyway, and you could do that before or after you've added your little shapes, whatever they might be. Another one of the pattern papers that works well with this concept, and like you can mix all of these together. If you have pattern papers that you obviously wouldn't likely kind of combine together, if you break them out into individual elements, it makes it easier to do that. So for instance, I've got this paper, for instance. really bold. How are you going to use it? There's a lot of different ways that you can use it. You can fussy cut the flowers out. I wouldn't mess with the leaves and the stems with these. I think that's too much. But you can fussy cut the flowers. You can fussy cut the little squares out. And if you fussy cut the squares out, you can use them and create like a patchwork or maybe like a grid page or a grid design. And I've got some grid ideas that would work easily with this in mind as well. So, or take your circle punch if you have a circle punch. Let's see, this one's a little bit big. Let's use, this is a 1 inch. I think that this one works better. So line it up. And there you go. And you can do it with the others as well. So then you've got a lot of different pieces, and if you have a bunch of different different size circle punches, or dies would work too. It just might take a little extra time. And if you want to have, you know, different sizes, you know, you can do that as well. So, you know, get this one. This is a 5/8, and I believe you didn't want to cut out the, so you've got a bunch of different circles. If you wanted to with, let's say, this guy here, let's go, I guess it's kind of hard to find the center of it though, but I'm going to guesstimate and see how lucky I am. Oh, pretty close. And then you've got different shapes, different colors, and then, you know, if we have some of these little guys, you can combine them and just create a really interesting pattern using those. So there's an idea with that paper. And like I said, if you just take it and look at it either color-wise, so like for instance, this is red and blue, so you can take this piece, this piece, this piece, and then you could do one, but anything that is red and blue, cut those things out, use them together. Anything that's pink, you know, this piece, these, this, the little dots, cut those out, use those together. And then of course, you know, you've got your blue background as well. So this is a great background that you can use to back a cup file. Use it as a background. There's all kinds of things that you can do, but if you kind of look at these bolder patterns and look at them by having just individual elements and utilize those, you'll get a lot of use out of papers like this, rather than looking at it and going, oh my god, I don't know what I do with that, that's not mine, I'll go with the B-side, which is, you know, a safe choice for sure. So that is my idea with those two, and I'm going to set this aside. And then let's take a look at this one. A lot going on, right? Lots of stripes. Very, very busy. You could, and sometimes just taking a bite-sized piece of a paper and using just a little bit of it, and taking the whole paper and all it has to offer, and maybe using a strip of it. Grab a piece of cardstock here, but using just a piece of it. And then using this paper. So let's say you've got a strip that's running across your page. Use this paper as your color palette that you're going to build on for your page. So for example, find a bunch of embellishments from this kit, but like here, maybe your camera, the bicycle. Let's see. A map might work. Orange. The closest coffee shop. The city. So if you kind of go through, even the orange would work because it works with peachy colors. This. So if you use that and kind of pull embellishments out that are the colors that you see in the paper. And what I tend to do is I tend to find a color that is my predominant color. So like for instance, if I were to do like blue and green, for instance. So if I were to use this and create a page with the blue and the green elements, and then have a little guy here, and then if you see, we've got a couple of little orange bits and pieces, so we can add some orange in. And so that paper becomes a lot more usable if you just got little bits and pieces. Whereas if you've got individual colors in each one of the embellishments here. If you were to take this paper and stick like an embellishment like this on it, way, way, way too much. We've got stripe, 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 stripe. And it just gets lost. Whereas if you have the, if you kind of dumb down the colors a little bit, it makes it a lot easier to use. In addition to using it that way, pull this aside. Got tons of stuff on my desk here. Okay, so in addition, if you wanted to, you could cut this paper out in kind of a limited color palette. So let's say, okay, we've got green and blue and pink. So see there, and we've got, this one has bolder pieces, so we'll cut here. And it makes the paper itself turn into a completely different animal, right? So we'll take maybe go here. Stay away from that pink. Cut this piece. And we'll just do one more. But I've got, okay, so here we've cut it differently. We've cut along the stripes, right? And so if you look at this paper now, as opposed to looking at it as a whole, it becomes a lot more usable. Because rather than having every single color, in fact, let's just take this, I'm gonna cut that yellow piece out because I think it's distracting. Okay, so there, remove that yellow, that puts the pink in there, we don't need that. So, if we look at this way, we've got this pattern, and so we've got what? In essence, 3 or 4 different colors, if you want to call navy. Let's call navy the contrast, so that would be the black. Or you've got the lime, the navy, and the green, which gives it a different look altogether. So, and let's bring in a third paper, which I have here. Okay, I'll pull these aside for a second. So here we've got another busy one, right? But the colors are the same. So if we were to look at these, oops, I've got so many paper trimmers on my desk, it's insane. Okay, so if we were to take this paper and kind of do the same thing and break it down into individual elements, right? We're going to cut these back and we're going to cut them into strips. I'm a big fan of strips. I use them all the time. This one I'm going to cut back just a little bit because I can't fit it entirely across my page. This trimmer needs a new blade. Okay, let's try this. The nice thing about this Fiskars trimmer is that it has a wire on it, so you can see exactly where it's cutting. So for cuts like this, it works so well. And then that way, especially with, so it has to, I'm trying to get the whole, scissors, scissors, scissors. Let's take these and just get this bottom piece. Okay, so there's that one, there's that one, and let's do another one that's a little shorter. So don't be shy about cutting your papers up, you know. Better to cut them up and use them than to just have them sit in your stash because you're unsure as to what to do with them. Because 9 times out of 10, if you cut them up, you're going to feel more inclined to use them because it's going to make more sense. All right, so pull these apart. Do I have 3? Yeah, I've got 3 strips. Okay, so here we've got, we've cut 3 busy patterns down a little bit, right? But the colors on these 3 busy patterns work together. And so it makes it more manageable. You can combine them. There's no rule against combining crazy busy patterns together. You just need to make sure that the colors are right. And the other thing about this one is that they're both linear. So we've got stripe, 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 and stripes and grids on this one. So both of those kind of work together. Now I took a similar page that I did. Okay, so this is kind of a same idea, right? So for example, let's say I decided that I didn't need the blue, so I cut the blue out, which made it even more usable. And then I cut them down a little bit. So I had only one strip that was the full length, the full 12-inch strip, and then the other ones are smaller. And I kind of placed them a little wonky on the page. And then I did the same here. Cut them down, so, and then I notched the edge off of each one of these others, which made it more interesting. And then I also scored down the center of this one and this one and this one, so that when it sits on the page, it kind of lifts a little bit, which just adds a little bit of shadow. I didn't have to put dimension behind it, but because I scored it, it just lifted it up a little bit. So kind of layered them differently, tucked this one underneath, this one was in the center, this one was offset and on top. And then I used the, where is it? My dies are, where? Let's see, too many things. I used our foldable tag die, and I cut these out, folded them in half, and a couple of different things with this that's kind of cool is that you could place either a square photo on top, you could place a circular photo on top and add some dimension to it, or you could put a photo here and have it framed out the way that you want it through the circle here. And then by having the flap, you can put your journaling underneath. And then you can just start, you know, creating your title and adding embellishments. It doesn't need a whole lot because there's a lot going on, but this will give you like a base of your page, and you've been able to take a really like bold pattern and or paper and 2 bold papers and kind of just take bits of them and use them on your page. And actually too, if you look closely here, I've used a very subtle pattern background, and it all works. So there's that one. Hopefully, maybe you'll be inspired to give that a try. Let's see what else I have for you. I've got so many things. So that one. Here's another one. Now I don't have a layout that I've done with this one yet, but I've done something with this side. But here again, lots and lots of bright colors. Cut it down, right? Strips, strips, strips. Strips make everything easy. And they're easy to cut, right? Doesn't take a lot of time like fussy cutting does, although I enjoy fussy cutting myself. Or not, I enjoy fussy cutting. A lot of people don't, but I do. But cutting strips, let's see, missed one, makes papers a lot easier to use. So, and believe it or not, these white strips, flip them over. And you can cut them down and you've got little strips, great for punching. We're going to come out with some confetti dies this fall, which will be a lot of fun. And they'll make doing shakers or having just small little pieces to work with really easy. So you can stay tuned for those. We've got a new alpha die coming out. It's a plate die that cuts all of your alphabet out at once. We've got some more stitchable dies coming. And you'll see those, some of them in August and some of them in September. So for instance here, right, we've cut this down. We've got a, oh, I'm missing something. Am I missing something? Nope. Have them all. So you could use like this. And then you could even have this one, or let's say you could use this one alongside with these two. So let's quickly bone trimmer. I like that one for a lot of different things, but not for cutting strips. It's actually fine, but when I'm having to use like a diagonal, sometimes things get a little wonky. So let's do 2 of these. Yikes. Alright, so but being able to look at your papers a little differently is going to be a game changer in you being able to use the products that you receive each month. Where did I put my scissors? Here we go. So I'm just going to trim this down. And trim this one down. So, and sometimes just changing the width of the strips too is helpful. So like you didn't want to use have both of these be, I think they're just over an inch and a quarter. Cut it down in half, and you could have this one be an inch and a quarter, or don't even cut it in half. Cut it, you know, like have one strip be a 1/4 inch, and then you can have different, you can split this in half and put it here and here, or you can do So like for instance, what I would do if I were to combine these, I would offset these white stripes. I think it makes it more interesting. And then you could take a piece and of this and see, I can't make it work. Okay, I'll try this again. So take this and then this and then these. And then you could put, you know, this one down here, or you could do it diagonally, like I said, if you have a white sheet of cardstock. It makes it a little bit easier to kind of get an idea of how it would look on a page. So, for instance, let's take this one here. We could have the green offset up here, and then have the blue, or another stripe here. And it makes it very doable, right? And if you pull this one maybe a little shorter, and sometimes just laying them down like this and messing with just the placement and moving things slightly left or right, you'll get a better feel. And then you can also use it vertically as well. And you can, depending on where you want it on your page, you can have it to the left, you can have it to the right. So there's an idea with that paper, and combining it with another bolder paper. And then, you know, simply with these, have maybe the red, and like I said, I just would kind of combine these a little bit. And because the red and the orange are so bold, I would have less of them than the yellow. So maybe layer them like this. But just offsetting them so that the stripes are different, you know. Or do it in rainbow order: red, orange, and yellow. There you go. And cut these maybe. Okay, so let's say now we can just kind of break it down a little bit more. Let's say we cut that one a little shorter, cut this one, and cut it in little increments. And then that, you can always make it smaller. You can't make it bigger. And maybe this one down as well. So it's maybe just in the center of our, this one a little more. But, kitty. Cut this one down. So I think, you know, just by kind of tweaking these a little bit, make this one smaller, because you want them to be, each of them to be a little bit different in So we've got to adjust the placements slightly so that everything is offset. So this, that way, and then this one. But I guess that kind of makes a little bit more sense. Again, if you wanted to do it this way, you could do it this way. And in which case, those two are very similar in length. So let's cut this one down slightly. But it just makes your paper just seem a little bit more usable if you've taken bits and pieces of it rather than the whole thing. And then the other thing that I mentioned earlier, where did my, I could take center this, and then we'll just score it in the center. And this is one of those things that just will help have a little bit more interest, and you can do it for each one of them. So it's kind of, and you don't want to fold it all the way, but if you started watching the new Netflix series on the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. I think it's kind of cute. Okay, so if you, by doing this, and again, you've got the same edge, so maybe adding some different angles on these is also going to be helpful. And when I glue, if I were to glue this, I would just run adhesive down the very center. You could stitch these, but having different angles is really helpful. So there is that paper. See, I can go on and on and on and on. Okay, so we've got more. That page I didn't have. Easy. There's another one. Get rid of all of these. So this is another really busy one, right? And there's a lot of different ways that this paper can be used. Again, I cut it into strips, and I found it to be very, very helpful to do that. Again, you can take your circle punch and you can go through and cut some of the circles out. You can cut some of the grids out. You can also take these and again make a more easy to use color palette. So for instance, there's red, blue, orange. This one right here. Red, blue, orange. This one if you wanted to. I mean, you can find a lot of different patterns and color palettes within the same paper. Here you could do red, orange, green. This one could be just plain blue. Red, orange, green. Plain blue. Red, orange, green. So there's a lot of different ways that this paper can be broken up and used. So, you know, you've got these that are one color palette, these that are another. And then if you wanted to even break them up even further, you could take all of the citron, greeny yellow, and just cut those out. Do all of the blues, all of the reddy roses, and break those up. And I've got some examples of what I did with both of those in finished pages. So let me show you what I've done. I've got two different pages. Okay, so the first one is this one, and what I did is I took and I cut out all the blue pieces in squares, and I took them and put them on white cardstock. It made it a little bit easier to do that than to try and create a grid by just popping up each individual square. So I used, where's this paper? So I used, cut out all the triangular ones. I don't think I did this one. I did the triangular ones. I did these little, I don't even know what you call those. Leaves? Flower? I don't know. This one, and then I did these, and I did this one. And I cut those out, and I created 9 different little mini grids. And I put them onto white cardstock, cut them out, and added foam adhesive behind it. I also used last, I think the very beginning or very beginning of June, I did kind of a project share or product share of our June kits, and I used, let's see if I can find it. Where did I put it? You know, if you could see my desk, I just have too many things going on. Oh wait, here it is. I've got like all kinds of stuff stuck to this. I've got gesso. All right, so I used, this is our halftone stamp that we released for June, and I used it along with our color kit. So I used the these two different shimmers that came in our color kit. Anchors Away and Shimmers and Forget Me Not Vibes. And I put it on my glass mat and I dipped my stamp in it, and I didn't have it on a block. I just dipped my stamp in it and just added it to my page. And this stamp is really easy to use, and you don't even have to stamp it perfectly. You can stamp part of it. And I just created my background, and I should have taken a photo of it before, but and I was like, oh, you know, I'm not sure I'm going to use that, but so when I was putting this page together, I was like, oh, I kind of have these colors in this background. I'm going to give it a whirl. And the cool thing about the shimmers is, I don't know if you can see it, but there is, oh, maybe, can you see the shimmer? So like right here and in the blue too. I'm kind of, let's see, trying to see if I can show you this way. Oh, there you go. But you can see the shimmer in that background, and you can see all the detail in this little stamp. It's got little dots and adds a ton of different texture. So I had this background and I was like, okay, well, let's do that. And so I put my grid down, started right in the center, and then I measured 1/2 inch on either side, used my T-square ruler and placed the grid down, and then I started adding my embellishments. Now, I didn't have photos for this, but I am going to add photos. I'll add one here, 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 and here. And that will kind of balance it out. I think I'm just going to do little thumbnail photos, so probably like 1.5 by 1.5. And yeah, and so with this one, because there's no not going to be journaling on the front, oftentimes if I don't put journaling on the front, I'll put journaling on the back. So, and then what I did was, I'm like, okay, well, let's start creating a color story on my page. So the blue and the green were kind of the base colors, and then I decided to have red be kind of that accent or that pop of color. And so I started with kind of the blue with the red, and then I worked down to the bottom where everything's mostly green and a tiny bit of red. And so this one, I've got some pictures of my kids when they were little at the park and riding their bikes and stuff like that. So I think I'll probably use those on this page, but thought it turned out really cute. And then there's some silver little highlights. These were the little dots from the silver puffy stickers, and I think those were in the main kit. And then these were the vellum die cuts and tags that were in the embellishment kit. And then most of these others were in the main kit. And the frames, I think, were in the main kit as well. So added a couple frames, cut this one down so I've got another corner that I can use elsewhere. This was a little frame, like a little extra piece that was in between one frame and the other, and I used that one here just to add a little bit of red. And then this one just kind of fit serendipitously. Okay, I'm not going to try and enunciate that, or pronounce that, but this one fit over this little grid here perfectly. So that just kind of happened. It's a happy little accident. So yeah, so there's that one. In addition, using that same paper and just using different bits of it, I used the stripes that were, where's my paper? here we go. Here's my paper. So I used, and I cut the paper this direction. So I had a piece, so I can show you. So it's hard to look at these papers sometimes and see the versatility in them because there's so much going on. And so this one I cut this direction, so I had all of the red, blue, and orange pieces that I used. And so I just put them kind of on a little, they looked like sun rays, I guess. And the way that I kind of figured out how I was going to situate them, this is like just a super old school tool that we all had when we were kids, and in like, you know, back in the day. My daughter stole my pencil from this to hang something in her room, but just your simple compass. So I figured out kind of where I wanted my arc to be, and then I created, you can still see it because I haven't erased it yet, but there is a little pencil line here, and so that I used as my guide for everything to create that arc. And so I put these down, and these were from, there's cat hair on everything in here because my cats climb on my desk as I work. So these were in our main kit, I believe, and there were a bunch of different phrases. And so I used City Vibes off of here, and I put that in an arc design, which worked with these little rays. And then I did a little cluster of frames at the bottom. Again, don't have my photos yet, but I'll put a photo here, and then maybe a pattern here. Shh. Sorry, my family's up there. Then the other thing that I used, and this is an example of being able to look at the things that come in your kit and not feel like you have to use them in their entirety or the way that they were made. And this, okay, so this had a little road piece, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that. But then when I created this page, I was like, oh, I'll just cut it in half so it's a little bit smaller, but it still has the line. And I created a little road, and then I used a bunch of the little, gosh, it would be helpful if I was showing you full packages of something, which of course I don't have. Actually, I do. Hang on one second. Let me grab those. Nope, don't. Thought I might have an extra set, but I don't have any in here. Do I? Trying to think if I've got anything lying around, because I stash stuff all the time. I don't think I do. So I used, in our embellishment kit, there's a package of puffy alphas, and they've got like all of these little houses and buildings, a taxi, little water fountain. So I created a little scene here, and then to balance it out, I created another little scene on the top of on the top of this frame. So really simple, not a lot going on, but by cutting this paper up, it made it a lot more useful. And out of that single piece of paper, I got 2 layouts done. So there's that one. I have more, you guys. I have been busy. All right, so there's that one. The next one that I want to mention are these. So down here, absolutely everywhere. These. So a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people use these, and there's a lot going on these papers, and they go pretty deep into your page. So then the question becomes, where do you put your photos, and how do you cut them down, and then, you know, all of that. And so if you look at these differently, if you look at these together, they really do work together. And if you could combine the two of them, you'd get a lot of color variation. So think about going in and fussy cutting. When I went in and did this, I didn't fussy cut these lighter buildings in the background. I just went through and fussy cut, and I think I cut off these little prongs because they were just too hard. I might have kept these. I'm going to show you what I did, but anyway, cut them out. One thing that I did do that made it a little bit easier is I took my paper trimmer, and this is kind of another good one that helps. So if you didn't want to save these little guys, you didn't have to. Just cut, obviously, and then cut down, and then you've got your little wire, so you know exactly where your strips are. And you're going to have to go in and fine tune this with your scissors, but you're doing the bulk of the cutting with your trimmer, which makes all of these straight lines a lot easier. And then all you have to do is go in and, you know, cut your other bits out, you know, going across. But it makes it a lot easier. And if you kind of forego these little toppers on the houses, makes it a lot easier. And then when you go to fussy cut, it makes it a lot easier because all you have to do is trim here. This one you're going to have to, I didn't go all the way down because I didn't want to get into the bottom, but have to kind of fine tune that one. And get rid of the little smokestacks here. Cut here. And here. But see how easy that is? Just makes it, just going to kind of cut through so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea of doing this, how quick it makes this, cutting this paper up, because a lot of people might have shied away from cutting it because it seemed too much. But, you know, we've done really the bulk of the cutting with our paper trimmer. So, there you go. And if you do that, then you've cut it out. You can do the same thing with this one as well. And this one's a lot more simple, with the exception of the little, I don't know what you call those, pointy things. But you can cut that out as well, and then you can layer them together and create a background that has more interest, or like a skyline that has more interest. And if you wanted to, you could just do this bottom part. But in addition, so what I did, show you, is, and this isn't finished yet, but it's kind of at a starting point. So I had a background that I had made, wasn't sure that I was even going to use it. It was like sitting there in a stack, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And I did this using the distress crayons, actually. And I cut, let's see if I have my piece, extra piece. Maybe I threw that out. Anyway, I cut the bottom of it off. And I cut these out, and I had layered them together, and you know, they were kind of like that. But then I was like, well, where am I going to put my stuff? You know, I can layer my photo and have everything kind of come along the center here. And then what am I going to use as my background? And then I was like, oh, that looks kind of like a cool sky, so maybe I'll use a portion of that. So I cut it down and put it on a piece of white cardstock. And then I decided that I was going to try this a little differently, and it looks like this little guy needs some glue because he's moving all over the place. Okay, so I cut these up, or cut it in half, and then I kept like trimming it so that I could have some space in the center. And then I decided that I was going to switch them so that I had an edge on either side. So my idea is that I'm going to put this, and I put them all on foam adhesive so it kind of stands out a little bit, but I'm going to take it and use it kind of like this, and then I can put my page, my photo, and everything else, and my title in the center, and then all of my little buildings are off to the side. And I think that that turned out really cool. And then I think that the background, all of the colors in the background, really worked well with all of the colors in the buildings. There's not purple, and there's not really a pink, but but those still work out okay. And I think by having these lighter buildings mixed in here, I think it helped. And it created a lot more dimension and kind of depth into the building. So I combined both of those and used those in a different way. And maybe this will help you use these papers because they tend to be a little bit more difficult. And like I said, just try and look at your papers and break them down a little bit, because you don't always have to use them the way that they are. Okay, so, and I've gotten a ton of pages out of this kit. So here is another one, and this was, where's my sketch? Alright, so here is the layout that I did earlier this month, and I used this paper, which isn't necessarily a busy paper, but it's quite bold, and I think if you were to layer a bunch of stuff on it, especially given the fact that there's a lot of color in the embellishments, grid layouts are amazing, and there's lots of different ways that they can be used. Anyway, I just cut a bunch of little squares using this green paper. I also used a little bit of one of the papers that I used had it had the little it's the last one. It had the street grid, so it added another little color in there. But used this, layered a bunch, tone on tone, and using the sketch was really helpful because it, you know, kind of gave you some placement for different things and added, you know, some additional shapes. So there is a video on one of our Sunday Funday Lives working with this sketch, and you can find the sketch on our Inspiration Center in our website, or on our website, and then the photo of this is in our Facebook group, so if you wanted to scrap lift it, you can easily do that. It's also on Instagram as well, so if you haven't followed us on Instagram, you should totally do that, because we add new projects and reels there on the daily. So then I think I have two more, but let's do this one. This is a starting point, and it's just a different way that you can use your paper. So I've created a wreath out of different triangles. Used my handy dandy compass, popped it in the center, and I've got a line here that gives me my circle, so I knew kind of how to place my different triangles. And it's like totally random, right? But it's just a different way to be able to use a paper. And there's adhesive on that piece. Okay, so what I did, and this is again using a piece of paper in a different way. So this was the paper, and this could easily be used as a background, I think, depending on how you placed your stuff. And you could use it just as a portion if you wanted to, just you know, if you cut here and here, and then maybe placed it here on your page, and then you've kind of got some pattern on part of it, and then white space over here. So, or you could create like an arrow that's kind of going up towards the corner. But what I did was I took this and again on the diagonal cut some more strips, right? And so I cut these, and I've got a bunch of them, and I cut them in, I believe it's like I think they're 2-inch wide. And so after I did this, I ended up cutting them into 2-inch squares and cut them in half. So in essence, easy peasy. Where the heck is my trimmer? Oh. So cut this off at the corner. So, and then you've got your marker here with your ruler, so 2-inch, 2-inch by 2-inch, and then just turn it. You could do this with scissors too. It doesn't have to be perfect. But then you've got a bunch of 2-inch triangles. And then you just start layering them around your page in kind of an abstract way. I thought about adding some foam adhesive behind some of them, but then I just decided to glue them all down, and then when I finish my page and I add my photo and my embellishments, I'll add dimension that way. And I might arc my title through the center here and have my my photo here. So I will show a finished layout with this, and I think I'm going to go around it with my sewing machine and add some stitching in kind of messy circles to give some interest to the wreath there. So there is that paper. So how many papers have we looked at? I know that there's been at least 6 or 8. Now here is my final page, and this one is not entirely done because it doesn't have any photos in it. But the thing that I wanted to mention, so we've got this set of die cuts. It's like a build-a-scene, and you have several different pieces that can be layered together to create a scene for your page. Right. And there's lots of little pieces inside here. This was the little road that I used on that other layout. I just cut it along the dotted line and was able to use that as a thinner road. So again, you can kind of scale things down and use them in a way that makes sense for your purpose rather than just the way that they come. So what I did with this, if you were to, like cardstock, if you were to look at these and create your background, across the back of your page, you're doing the same thing here. You've got a whole diagonal or horizontal line that goes along the back or your background. So the question becomes, where do you put your photos? And how do you make your photos stand out in a way that isn't having the skyline the star of your page? So being able to cut them down a bit, and you can't see this because I added a tag here, but I don't have them all the same. I don't have them all the same length. They're kind of staggered a little bit, and which makes it a little more interesting, right? So, so I staggered them a bit, and then I trimmed them at different lengths, and then I just have a little bit of a skyline here, and then I've got a bunch of leftovers so that if I wanted to use them on like a traveler's notebook or a card or a mini album, I have some left. So, you know, you can get more than one layout out of these. The other thing you could do, in keeping in mind with this idea that I created earlier, would be to cut them down, add some of them here, and then have like the odd, you know, kind of various different shapes here, and cut them down, and then you have some here and some here, and then you can build your page in the center. So you could use these like that as well. The other thing you could do, if you wanted to, you could use them as a horizontal or like a vertical border. And so let's say you cut them in like 3-inch. Let's just try this because I don't know how this is going to turn out. But actually, let's do this with this because it'll make it easier. See, I told you I have a bunch of different trimmers and I use them for different things. This one is like 20 years old, and that's why it came gray, now it's yellow. But so here, let's take these and here, let's have them be about 3 inches. And then we'll do it again. We're doing an experiment, a live experiment. Cut these again at 3 inches, and I may be destroying this, so better me doing this experiment than you. Okay, another 3 inches. Okay, so now we have all these guys that are 3 inches wide, or 3 inches wide. And we can take them, some of them are going to obviously have weird little, but if we do it like this, and here, here. I don't know how these were. And there. And here. Maybe this guy. I think the blue ones kind of have to be a little bit more in the center because, just because it looks better. But but in essence, what we've done is we have kind of created a fun little skyline, and like I said, this is and these can be cut down, so you could cut them so that you have a wider variety of widths, but and then maybe at the bottom you can put your little, don't know where he went, but you could put your little, and I would give more space in between these, but that would be kind of cool, right? So you've got houses along the whole way, the whole edge. And then, you know, you could do some on this side too, if you wanted to. So you don't always have to use things the way that they come. Think about breaking them down a little bit. How long have I been going today? I'm afraid to look. Let's see. 106 minutes. That's a long time. Almost 2 hours. Okay, you guys. So hopefully I have given you guys some ideas and ways to use your pattern papers in a different way. Break them down into little bits and pieces and use your embellishments along with your pattern papers, and you'll get a lot of layouts out of a single kit. Now granted, I used some embellishments from our embellishment kit, but most of what I used was from our main kit. And then some little details, obviously, of and then this guy. So what do I have here? I mean, and they're not all of them are done yet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, this will be 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 layouts with a single kit. And I still have lots and lots and lots of things that I could use. I haven't even used any of the cup files yet, so that's another way that you can get more out of your kits. The dies are great. We have that die, the folded tag that I showed you. We've got this guy who's super cool, and he's a little skyline. But look at what he cuts. It's so intricate, and I have a blue one. Maybe I do. Right. Oh, no. I used a bunch of them, so these little guys, look how cute they are. I created some little embellishments a couple of weeks ago using the folded die. Here's the little see, cat hair is attached to everything in my office. I have a cat that has very long fur and he is shedding like crazy. But I use some of the little skyline die cuts that I cut out using our skyline die. I used, this is one of the folded tags. I used it backwards, and I'll put some journaling here, but I'm going to add this to a page. I just haven't done it yet. One of the frames, a die cut, and a little puffy sticker. And then there was this little guy using the tags from the embellishment kit, some puffy stickers, and a couple of die cuts. So there's that one, and then I think that there's one more, which actually I've torn apart a little bit because I needed one of the buildings for something else, so I need to fix it. And I took the taxi cab off of this one. But again, a frame, backed it with a piece of cardstock, added a vellum die cut, some puffy stickers. And these, like, you know, you could use easily on any of your pages, but like, you know, if you wanted to have 2 photos on one of these and then have, you know, a single embellishment and a title, you'd be good to go. So, yeah, so there's so much stuff in these kits. Love this one. And hopefully I have inspired you with some ways to get a lot of use out of your June kits. I'll have more layouts to share with you, and I will be sharing them on both Instagram and in our Facebook group. And I'm going to create a thread for this live. If you happen to create a page using your pattern papers and altering them in some way, and creating a page that might be inspired by one of the techniques and tricks that I showed you today, go ahead and pop into our Facebook group and share a photo of your finished page. I'd love to see what you have created using these little tips, but hopefully it'll help you get some mileage out of your kits. So without wasting any more of your Sunday, one other quick thing: if you have enjoyed my video and you enjoy what we're putting out in the way of inspiration and content every day, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell and give my video a like. That makes the world go round in the world of YouTube, so makes it easier for people to find the type of content that they're looking for. And if you think that we're producing high quality content that is useful for you, chances are it's useful for other people as well. And if the other thing that you could do is you can share our channel with your crafty, creative friends. So there's a little, I think, an airplane or an arrow or something, but you can click on that and share it with your friends. So that would be awesome too. So the more the merrier. But anyway, so without further ado, thanks you guys for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed yourself. I've enjoyed myself, and we went through a lot of stuff today. So I will see you next week on our next live, and I hope you guys have a little bit of time to do something creative either today or during this week, and we'll meet again next Sunday at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for another Sunday Fun Day Live. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have a great week. Bye.